when Occupy was crushed by Obama and also governments around the world, it left me wondering, like, how could it possibly have failed? You know, here I am, an activist at the age of 13, from 13 to 28. I had believed that if you could create something like Occupy Wall Street, you would get the change that you wanted. That was the whole storyline of activism that I had been raised under. And so when Occupy was crushed and we didn't get what we wanted, I spent the next like 5 or 6 years kind of thinking about theories of change and why it didn't work. And I wrote a book called The End of Protest. So there's a lot that we can dive into, but I think that the main kind of conclusion, and I liked what you were saying about this the century ending, because I think the bookend of my thought was really that the dominant storyline of contemporary activism is broken. That this idea that we're going to create mass movements that put demands on our leaders and that these leaders are going to be forced to listen to us because of the myth of representative democracy is fundamentally broken. And this is what the new century is about, but we now know that activists have a tremendous role to play, because activists are the one force that seem to have this mystical, almost magical capacity to mobilize millions of people with so few resources. You would be amazed how inexpensive it was to create Occupy Wall Street. So I think we're in this moment now where elites need activists, because activists are the only social force that seem to know how to do this mobilization. And activists are now needing elites, because elites hold the key to not squashing and destroying these social protests.
Well, Micah, sorry, what you just said is fascinating but also very shocking. When you say that the dominant storyline of activism, contemporary activism, is broken, that public pressure on elected representatives is ineffective, what's the point of marching? What's the point of writing in? What's the point of joining a movement?
Yeah, exactly. What is the point? I mean, it's very difficult because, you know, and I think if you want to trace what that moment is that broke protests, it was in 2003 when George Bush and Tony Blair went to war despite an unprecedented global synchronized protest. There had never been a protest in human history. If you guys remember February 15, 2003, everywhere on earth protested at the same time.